Alright everybody, how we doing today? Time to cover something a little more domestic. From Ruptly, Project Veritas starts dropping massive CNN expose claiming to uncover anti-Trump crusade. Project Veritas has dropped what it claims a bombshell expose on CNN, including secret recordings of staff at editorial meetings, which reveal an anti-Trump crusade and bias at the highest levels. In the first clip uploaded by a PV, a person who is allegedly CNN president, Jeff Zucker, tells a staff meeting that he wants them to stay very focused on President Donald Trump's possible impeachment. The video also shows Nick Neville, a media coordinator at CNN, saying that Zucker has a personal vendetta against Trump. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, since they're a major mainstream media outlet that tends to drive a mostly, if not entirely, liberal narrative, sometimes pushing their viewers into a frenzy. So while I wouldn't be surprised by this, as always, I'm going to remain reasonable, and I'm going to truly consider whether or not this is actually true. So, proceeding with the article, is it really true? In the hours before the release, PV released a clip of Zucker talking about the forthcoming leaks on the 9 a.m. morning call, confirming that their source is still on the inside. The whistleblower turned out to be Carrie Porch, a satellite uplink technician and contractor at CNN Washington, D.C., bureau whose identity was unknown until now. Porch said he began to record staff meetings of the network because he didn't see any other person. He decided to wear a hidden camera to expose the bias. There's a tweet here from James O'Keefe, and it says, "I'd like to introduce CNN whistleblower Carrie Porch." Am I saying that right? He secretly recorded his colleagues for months, will be uploading clips all day and night, says Porch. "I didn't see any other option. I decided to wear a hidden camera to expose the bias." Well, this should be good then. The conservative watchdog group had forewarned of the leaks days ago, counting down with teasers and snippets posted on social media. O'Keefe had stressed that the whistleblower is not one of PV's undercover reporters, but one of Zucker's own employees in the clip. Porch says his role at CNN was a dream job that turned into a nightmare. In one recording, Zucker says he knows a lot of people at CNN are friendly with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, but warns that it's time to knock that off and time to call him out. Zucker blames years of fake news and conspiracy nonsense from Fox News for the climate of division in the U.S. Porch says the description sounded awfully like what CNN itself was doing. He was calling Fox News fake news and a propaganda machine, and with that I'm like, that's pretty much what CNN was. It's just pumping out propaganda. Yeah, I would say it probably is. I don't see many CNN reports. I don't bother with television or the mainstream media. It's a waste of time. But what I've seen of CNN would definitely suggest that their bias forces their news reporting into the realm of propaganda. I guess not everyone can be like me. I have a definite agenda against the EU and the UN and globalism in general. I do not believe that there's any value behind superstates or mass continental superpowers. Nationalism is the best way to go. You cannot control that many cultures and that many perspectives and that many ways of life with a single government. That's going to inevitably result in tyranny. That is inevitably going to result in an unmanageable situation. And yet, as much as I am opposed to that, and I will criticize the globalists to no end, I do not go out of my way to make stuff up. I do not propagandize. I simply take what they're doing over there and I criticize them to death for it. And when they get something right, I'll admit it. Hey, they got something right. When they get something wrong, hey, guess what? They got something wrong. But do you expect CNN to be that reasonable? Hell no. Not even. Porch said soon after he began the job at CNN, he noticed a strong groupthink that permeated the halls, where everyone was on board. The anti-Trump train and other important stories get sidelined by Zucker in favor of of more negative Trump coverage. The expose appears to confirm that it's not just one or two CNN employees who are growing tired of the constant focus on Trump either. I hate everything, how everything is all Trump all the time now. Everyone at my job, everyone at the network complains about it, says Christian Sierra, another CNN media coordinator. They hate covering Trump every day. Sierra goes on to admit that CNN's interview with Democrats are like softballs and that they are tougher on Republicans. It was like we were at a funeral. People were like in shock. I wouldn't say they were in mourning. I would say people were in shock. Floor manager Mike Brevna says of the atmosphere at CNN the day Trump won the 2016 election. Project Veritas has become notorious for its exposés of liberal organizations. In August, the conservative group revealed that Google had created a politically biased blacklist of undesirable websites based on a fringe ranking system. It has also previously recorded Twitter employees admitting that the company shadow bans users with right-wing political views. And of course, many liberals will try and claim that Project Veritas is lying. They'll slander, they'll spew, they'll say this or that because many liberals today, many of the libs are not reasonable. They want to separate and other the conservative viewpoint. I actually happen to know at least two different liberals who always end up portraying conservatives as either evil racists or idiots. Like, they can't take anything we say seriously. They don't give us any credit. Those of us in the conservative wing. We're all just evil or stupid, or sometimes evil and stupid at the same time. And this is why many people are walking away from the left wing of the political spectrum, because it's becoming more and more militant and more unreasonable by the day. They're becoming zealots. And nobody likes a zealot. Why do you think the Puritans were encouraged to leave Europe and come here to America? Because they didn't want to deal with the Puritans. This is literally the leftist equivalent of puritanical behavior. And of course, when Veritas comes along and forces them to look in the mirror and see themselves for how they really are, of course, they don't like it. They don't like it one little bit. They're like the first ones from Brutal Legend when Ormagoden comes flying overhead and casts light over the land, so the shadows go away, and then the absolutely hideous first ones can see themselves how they really are. They use the old style esoteric pagan creationist stories, the style and the way those stories were written, which was in metaphor, as a beautiful illustration in that particular game of basically just revealing the truth that no one wants to see. Liberals, at least many of them, many dedicated zealot-like leftists, are some of the ugliest people in the world. Not on the inside, not on the outside, but on the inside. In here and in here. They're completely hideous. They're the ugliest people in the world. And Veritas shows them that. And they don't like it. They don't like it one little bit. Anyway, peace!